November 2020, question number 2b. We have that a company uses two methods to remunerate its casual workers as follows. We have piece rate with guaranteed time rate. The company pays its casual workers at shillings 25 for every good output produced by them. Any spoiled output is paid at the rate of 10 shillings and a penalty of 8% is charged based on the rate of the good production. The employees are guaranteed a minimum of monthly pay of 8,000. So if your salary will fall below 8,000, the lowest amount you carry home is 8,000. That's what we have under the piece rate. Under the piece rate, if you're going to work and we are able to calculate all the amount you're supposed to get, then you find that it is only 4,500. We will not pay you 4,500. No, we pay you the minimum guaranteed amount, which is 8,000. That's what we are having under first option. That's what we are having under first option. Then option number 2, under differential piece rate, we have that an employee is compensated on a piece rate basis and the following schedule is applied to determine his or her remuneration. So we have the number of units produced, then we have rate per unit. So that one is provided in a graduated scale. Good. Then we are told the spoiled units are deducted from the first production, paid at the rate of 10 shillings per unit, and a penalty of 8% applied at the differential rate of the first production. Right? Then, what are they telling us again? They are giving us the 3 employees of the company produced the following number of units during the month of March 2020. So you have employee, number of units produced, and the spoiled units. So determine the wages payable to each employee under the 2 labor remuneration methods. Advise each employee on the best labor remuneration method to accept based on your computation in B1 and 2 above. Now, number 2, as a company, we have 2 people here, company, and then we have employee. So number 1, company will be interested in minimizing wages or salaries, right? Then employee on their side will be trying to do what? To maximize their income in the name of salary. Now, in this particular question, the examiner concentrated on the side of the employee. We have 2 options. So employee will be looking at the one that's giving us the highest salary. The highest salary will be accepted by this employee. So is it the piece rate or the guaranteed amount that is given there? That's what you're going to look at again. So without taking much time, let's check the first one. Let's look at the first one very fast. Talking about the CPA. So you can start with the, let's start with the piece rate. So the piece rate here, we are dealing with 3 people. We are dealing with the Amboga, Banyala, and Charlie. Let's start with the Amboga here. We are dealing with piece rate. So Amboga. What is the examiner telling us here? The examiner has said, under piece rate, the company pays its casual workers 25 shillings for every good unit. So the good units, so Amboga here, number 1 will be paid for the good units. Good units, then we have spoiled. Spoiled units. So can someone give me good units? Good units for Amboga. Total is 2,000, spoiled is 200. $1,800. So good units is 1,800. Then spoiled is 200 units. So the good unit, the company is paying how much? 25 shillings, right? Then the spoiled units, the company is paying how much? And then any spoiled output is paid at the rate of 10 shillings per unit, right? Then you also have a penalty. And a penalty of 8% is charged based on the rate of good production. So we have penalty. We have penalty. So we take good units plus spoiled, right? Then to the penalty we less. So penalty, we are going to have a penalty of the 200 units that have been spoiled. At what rate? At 8%, at the rate of 8% of the rate of good units. The rate of good units. Please go ahead and give me the answers here. So 1,800 by 25 in a letter ngapi? 1,800 by 25 in a letter ngapi? 1,000. Which one? Should we sample that and understand? Should good units rate be 30? Why 30? Wametuambia, we are using two methods. The first one is piece rate with guaranteed time rate. So you know that the company pays its casual workers shillings 25 for every good output by them. Any spoiled output is paid at the rate of 10 shillings. So this person managed to produce a total of 2,000 units. Of these 2,000, 200 are spoiled. So it will not be the same rate as the good units. No, they reduce the rate. Then they must also penalize you. The spoiled goods will attract a penalty. Is it clear now? Churchill, confirm. So this one is giving you 45,000. Churchill can confirm. Then the spoiled goods will be giving this person 2,000. Then let's deduct the penalty. So 8% of 25, itakuwa ngapi? 8% of 25. 8% of 25, 2. So 2 by 200. 2 by 200 will give us 400, right? So that 400 is supposed to reduce the wages payable to this person. So let's get total wages payable. Total wages payable. Total wages payable, 46,600. 46,600. Good. We want to deal with the same person. I said here is a matter of making you get the concept. So let's deal with the same person, but now under method 2. This method 2, we are talking about differential piece rate. So differential piece rate here. We are told this would be done on a graduated scale. So this graduated scale, they are telling us an employee is compensated on the piece rate basis, and the following schedule is applied to determine his or her new remuneration. Then spoiled units are deducted from the first production, paid at the rate of 10 shillings per unit. Now, Amboga here produced a total of 2,000 units. What about basic pay? A minimum. Read it very well. Read the entire question. Read everything. We are told at the rate of 8% is charged based on the rate of the good. The employees are guaranteed a minimum monthly pay of 8,000. If the total wages payable to Amboga was less than 8,000, angelipwa 8,000. Not 4,000. But because this one here is above 8,000, we just pay the actual amount. Is it clear, Francis? Is it Francis or yes, so that's what you are required to do. So let's come to this method number 2. This method number 2. This method number 2, we are talking about the piece rate. So we are told the spoiled units are deducted from the first production, paid at the rate of 10 shillings per unit, and a penalty of 8% applied at the differential rate of the first production. So this person has produced 2,000 units. 200 of these units are the spoiled goods. Now, the first production, the first scale, we are talking about 1 to 250 units. So the first 250 units, topic number 4. cost accumulation, accounting for direct labor. Now, the first scale there, we have 1 to 250 units. So the first 250 units, will be paid for at what rate? At 15 shillings. But we are told the spoiled goods, the 200, will be deducted from the first scale. So from the 250 units, we are going to take spoiled, right? So spoiled goods or spoiled units, we have 200 will be taken from there. But now, not paid at that rate of 15 shillings. No, the spoiled goods will be paid for at the rate of 10 shillings. So multiply by 10. Then we are told the first 250 will be 15 shillings, right? The first 250, we are talking about 15 shillings. So we have the remaining 50 units, right? So we have spoiled units, that is the first. Still the first scale, we are only remaining with good units. We are remaining with 50, right? To make it the first 250. So this 50 will be paid for at the rate of 15 shillings. But within the same scale, we can decide and bring in the penalty or bring it at the very last part here. We can decide to bring it at the very last part. So the second bar, let's come to the second bar. Second bar, we are being told any goods that are above 250 and less than or equal to 500 will be paid for at the rate of 20 shillings, right? This total units for hamburger is 2,000. So we still have more goods here. So let's bring in the next 250 units. The next 250 units, so good units. The next 250 units will be paid for at the rate of 20 shillings, if I'm not wrong, at the rate of 20 shillings. Then let's go to the third bar from 500 to 1,000. From 500 to 1,000, how many units are those? From 500 to 1,000, how many units are those? From 500 to 1,000. We have 500, right? So the 500 units will be paid for at what rate? Watch out, 500 units will be paid for at what rate? 500 units will be paid for at what rate? 25 shillings, right? 5 shillings. Now, then we go to the next bar. So the first 1,000 units, the first 250, 15 shillings. The next 250, 20 shillings. The next 500, 25 shillings. Have we covered the first 1,000 units? Let's count and see. So here, the first 250 units, we have them there. The next 250 units, that is 500. The next 500 units, that is 1,000. What was the total number of goods produced by this person called hamburger? Total number of units. Or if you have to move to the fourth scale, we are going to consider goods that are above 1,000. So how many units were produced that are above 1,000? He produced 2,000. We've already taken care of the first 1,000 units. So how many goods are remaining? How many goods are remaining? How many goods are remaining? 1,000. So how much was paid for the 1,000? How much was paid for the 1,000? How much do we have there for the 1,000 units? 30 shillings, right? So this one's here will be the amount earned by this individual. But we also have to consider penalty. So we can talk about less penalty. So penalty was charged on the spoiled goods, right? The spoiled goods were 200. We have to deduct that 200 from the first bar. So the first bar, we take the 200 units. And what were we told to be the penalty rate? Penalty rate, tumeambiwa that the spoiled goods will be paid at the rate of 10 shillings per unit and a penalty of 8% applied at the differential rate. The penalty will be 8% of the rate of that first bar. The rate at first bar is 15 shillings for the good units. So you only get to charge penalty 8% of that rate. So just start listing the amounts. Somebody's having a question here. Are we dealing with 1,800 or 2,000 units? How many units are produced by this person here? How many units? Additional information number, actually below the table. 3 employees of the company produced the following number of units during the month of March 2020. Number of units produced, 2,000. Of these 2,000 units, 200 were spoiled. We are dealing with the 2,000 units. So can you try to count this ones here without including the penalty? Tapata uko na 2,000 units. But now we bring in the penalty and it reduce what they are going to earn. That's why the spoiled goods hapa amechajiwa or he has been paid 10 shillings instead of 15. Then penalty will reduce their pay. That is, this penalty will be charged 8% of the rate at the first bar or first scale. Is it now clear? Is your question answered, Kezia? Then Janet is having a question here. Must we calculate per range or we just say over 1,000 and use the rate of 30,000, over 1,000? Good, that is what we've done. So we first of all deal with the first, because the first 250 will be paid 15 shillings. The next 250 will be paid 20 shillings. The next 500 will be paid 25 shillings. Then anything above that will be paid 30 shillings. So if you take 30 multiplied by what 2,000, it will be wrong. Why? Because inside this 2,000, we must have to divide these goods into batches. The first batch of 250, the next batch of 250, the next batch of 300, and anything above that range will be now paid at 30 shillings. Is your question taken care of, Janet? Is your question taken care of? Where did we get first good units of 50? Tulitoa hizi wapi? So we are told that within the first batch, will be any units from 1 to 250, utalipwa 15 shillings. The examiner stated very well that Amboga ate 200 spoiled goods. And under piece rate method, the 200 spoiled goods will be deducted from the first range. E range 1 to 250. Kama uko na spoiled goods, itatoka hapa. So instead of taking 250, I would have taken 250. Here, 250. But because this person produced the spoiled goods, tumeambiwa hizo spoiled goods zinatoka from this first range. So first range is 250, and therefore I have decided to separate the spoiled goods from the good units. If I add the two, will give me 250, and you can see they are all falling within the first range. Is it okay now, Dorin? Is it okay now? Great. So let's go ahead and get the total amount payable to Amboga under differential piece rate. So we have 200 times 10 will give me 2,000. We have 50 by 15. What are we getting? 50 by 15? 750. We have 250 by 20. 250 by 20, 5,000. We have 500 by 25. 500 by 25, 12,500. We have 1,000 by 30. 30,000, right? Good. Can you give me 8% of 15? Ndio tujue rate hapa. 8% of 15 ni ngapi? 8% of 15. 1.2. So when you take 1.2 by 200, what are you getting? 1.2 by 200, 240. And we know very well that's a penalty, so we deduct. Can you give us the total wages payable? Total wages payable. Total wages payable ni ngapi? Total wages payable, 50,010. 50,010. 50,010. Advise Amoga, which option should he go for? We have option 1. We have option 2. Anafaa chague gani? Ikwe kwa contract. Is it 1 or 2? Option 2, because they're going to get the highest amount. They're going to get the highest amount. They're going to get the highest. He's going to get the highest amount here. Good. By looking at what we've done for the 2 options using 1 employee, are you able to deal with the remaining 2 employees? Are you able to deal with the remaining 2 employees? Are you able to deal with the remaining 2 employees, especially the person who requested us to do this question? Are you now okay with the remaining 2 employees? Explain your concept here, 8,000. Nimesema entitled to a minimum of 8,000. That is to say, if your total salary or wages, let's talk about wages. If your total wages is less than 8,000, the company will pay you 8,000, and if your wages is less than, is greater than, is equal to, actually is equal to or greater than, is equal to or greater than 8,000, the company will pay you your actual earnings. Is it now clear? If you worked for the entire month, na tumecalculate tukapata, what we are supposed to pay you is 6,000, is 7,000. We cannot give you 7,000. Tutakupatia 8,000. But if your total earnings is more than 8,000, we cannot give you 8,000. We give you that actual earning. Is it clear now? Is it clear now? Good. So I want us to be fair to everyone. Why can't we go and look at this ATD question? ATD question, again, still from topic number 4. Still from topic number 4. That is May 2019, question number 1B. May 2019, question number 1B. May 2019, question number 1B. May 2019, ATD. May 2019, question number 1. It is still from topic number 4. May 2019, question number 1B. Question number 1B. So we are being told, BD Enterprises applies an incentive scheme of labor remuneration. The following data is provided for 3 employees. So we have time allowed per unit, we have units produced, we have time taken in hours, we have basic pay per hour, we have rejected units, then we have additional information. So this question, if you are in our class or you are able to follow through what we did in class under December 2022 CPA, you can actually answer this question. So additional information number 1, bonus is paid at 50% of the normal wage rate for every hour saved. So here, automatically, hours saved will be equal to bonus hours. The only thing that is affected is the bonus rate. We are told that bonus rate is 50% of the basic wage rate. Then number 2, no penalty is imposed on rejected output. There will be no penalty on the rejected output. But if you want to calculate the time allowed, we are going to deduct the rejected or spoiled goods so that you get the good units. So that you get the good units. Then that is it. The required. For each of the above employees, determine bonus payable, gross wages payable, and wages cost per unit made. Wages cost per unit made. Good. Now, I have a question for you. I'm not able to see that during this particular week, the normal working hours was not provided. Normal working hours in a week for this particular question or these employees was not given to us. So if that is not there, which item are we not going to calculate in this particular question? Among the components of wages payable, which item are we not going to have? We are not going to have overtime pay because we are not given in a normal working week, in a normal working month, the standard hours allowed is this one here. For the standard working hours, it's this one here. So if it is not there, don't waste time calculating overtime. Pattern, it will not be there. Good. So without taking much time, we can deal with these 3 people here. You can deal with these 3 people here. So we're talking about Jane. We're talking about Peter. We're talking about Anne. So we first of all get units. Units produced. So units produced. I think I should be able to provide another column here. So units produced, we're talking about 474. We're talking about 684. We're talking about 175. To the units produced, let's deduct rejected units. Rejected units. So rejected units, tuko na 54, tuko na 84, na tuko na 25. So that will give us what we call good or accepted units. So let's talk about good. Good or accepted units. Good or accepted units. Can you give me the amounts? 474 minus 54 itakuwa ngapi? 474 minus 54 itakuwa ngapi? 420. Then 684 minus 84 will give us, is it 600? Then 175 minus 25 will give us 150. 150. Good. Now, have we been given time allowed per unit? Yes, we are given that in hours. So can we get time allowed? Let's have per unit. So we have a quarter, which is the same as 0.25. We have a 64. So we can just have it in this order. Quarter, 6. Then we have half. So take time allowed per hour. I mean time allowed in hours per unit. We use this one here, multiply by the actual units produced for us to be able to get total time allowed. So we talk about total time allowed in hours. So what do we have for Jen? A quarter of 420. Itakuwa ngapi? A quarter of 420. 105. A sixth of 600. Itakuwa ngapi? A sixth of 600. Itakuwa 100. Then half of 150. Itakuwa ngapi? 75 hours. 75 hours. Good. Having done that, do we have time taken? Time taken, if possible, let's put all of them in hours. Do we have actual time taken? Actual time taken, we have 78 hours. For Jen, we have 72 hours. For Peter, and we have 80 hours. For Anne, this we are extracting directly from the question. There's a question here. Will time allowed include for rejected units? No, that's why we did this. Time allowed, total time allowed is the time allowed per unit multiplied by the correct or the good units, multiplied by the accepted units. Why are we not taking quarter of 474? That's why I've explained. Rejected units will not be compensated. Ideally, in the practical section, do you think the company will pay you for spoiling their goods? Will they pay you for that? You have been given something to do, then you are giving us low quality output. Will we just laugh with you and say, okay, that is normal, let's just pay this person the amount? No. To some extent, some companies will even end up not paying you anything. So you have to be penalized. Instead of, actually, what we have done for 2020, what we have done for the 2020 question, you are able to see, number one, so that company was lenient enough to do what? To pay you for the spoiled goods at a lower rate, but then bring in the penalty. Utalipwa kidogo, yes, at a lower rate, and then they bring in the penalty. That is for the 2020. So let's say that is that company. If you come to this company, any spoiled or rejected units will not earn you anything. The only thing they're going to do, they will not bring in penalty, but by deducting any pay for the rejected units will be very key next time and will avoid producing these goods with low quality. So here there is no penalty, but we don't pay you for the rejected units. So that's what has been done here. That is what has been done here. Is that okay, Joseph? Is that okay? Joseph. Good. We can now proceed. So you are allowed to take 105 hours. You've actually taken 78 hours. Do we have time saved? We are looking for time saved. Time saved. So 105 minus 78, itakuwa ngapi? 27 hours. 100 minus 72, itakuwa ngapi? 100 minus 72, 28 hours. You are allowed to work for 75 hours. You worked for 80 hours. Have you really saved anything? No. You've not saved anything. In the question, so what the examiner will tell you will determine whether this one here will translate to bonus hours or not. So let's get bonus hours. What are they telling us about the bonus hours? Additional information number one, the examiner is saying, you know what? Bonus is paid at 50% of the normal wage rate for every hour saved. So the time saved automatically translates to bonus hours. The only different thing will be the bonus rate. So let's come and bring in the bonus hours here. Let's bring in the bonus hours. Somebody saying that my board is not clear. Is that the case for everyone? Is my board visible from your side? Is my board? No. Yes. No. It is clear. Then please just check on your network. I think I can see it. Perfect. Okay, it is okay. Good. So we have the bonus hours. Time saved as of actually translated to bonus hours because what we have seen in the question will only affect the bonus rate. Good. So we have bonus hours. And now that we have bonus hours, let's go ahead and get this within the question. We have basic pay or basic rate. Basic rate. So basic rate is given in the question as 600 shillings per hour. 600 shillings per hour. We have, it is 600, 600, 300 shillings per hour. About bonus rate. Bonus rate tunaambiwa is half of the basic or normal wage rate. So if normal wage rate for Jane is 600, basic will be half of it. If normal wage rate for Peter is 600, bonus will be half of it. And of course, if normal for Jane is, Anne is 300, we'll be having half of it, which is 150. So whatever is remaining, can we get basic pay, basic wage? Basic wage, we now have time taken. Time taken, actual time taken is the basic hours. So can we take 78 multiplied by 600? What are you getting? 78 by 600. Itakuwa ngapi? 78 by 600. Itakuwa ngapi? 46,800. So we have 46. Then you also take 600 by 72. Itakuwa ngapi? 600 by 72. 43,200. Then we check the last one. 300 by 80. Itakuwa ngapi? 300 by 80. 300 multiplied by 80. Itakuwa ngapi? 24,000. That is basic, basic wage. So let's go to bonus wage. So bonus wage, we take bonus hours. We take bonus hours multiplied by bonus rate. Our bonus hours is 27 by 300. What are you getting? 27 by 300, is it 80 or 75? 75. Total time allowed. The company allows you to work for 75 hours, but actual time taken, the actual hours that you actually worked, the actual time that you took to do the production of these units for Anne took a total of 80 hours, even though the company allows her to work for 75 hours. Is that okay? Is that okay? Now, in some questions, this is what will be done to you. The examiner will tell you, you know what? The company will only pay for the actual time taken to a maximum of the allowed time. Anything above the allowed time will not be paid. So if they did that, or if that was added to our question, we could have only calculated this basic rate, basic wage on 75 hours because they only pay you to a maximum of the time allowed. Anything above that, they don't pay. So if we don't have that clause within our question, we work with 80 hours as the basic wage. Actual time taken is 80 is what is allowed. Yes. So if in some questions, if they restrict you and say, you know what, we cannot pay you beyond the time that we budgeted for. Of course, some companies will tell you that, you know what, as per our budget, we only work under budget and we allow only a maximum of 75 hours for the production of 150 units of this particular product. If you will take more than 75 hours, we'll not pay that extra hour. We are going to pay for the first 75 hours. So if that was done in this question, atungelipa your extra 5 hours, and because it is missing, and will be paid everything, and will be paid everything for the 80 hours. Are we together up to that point? Is your question taken care of, Nabira and yeah, just Nabira? Good. So I believe we are good to go. Let's go to bonus wage. We take bonus rate times bonus hours. So 27 by 300. Tunapata ngapi? 27 by 300, very fast. 8100, we are actually good. How about 28 by 300, ngapi? 28 by 300, 8400. Then we don't have bonus hours here, so we don't have anything with the bonus. And then you now get the total. So you should be able to get the total. This one here will be 50 what? 52,900. 54,900. Is that the case? 54,900. How about this? It will be 51,600. 51,600. Then this one will be 24,000. 24,000. So that's what you are required to do in this particular question. That is what you are required to do in this particular question. So are we together up to that point? Are we together up to that point? Are we together? Are we together? Great. That is it. Let's now go to the next thing. Let's go to the next thing. Under topic number 9. Are you conversant with the cash budget, or we should do another question before we move to flexible budget? Are we conversant with the cash budget? Are we conversant with the cash budget?